Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hawkeye Volleyball. I'm John Evans. Tonight, the Hawkeyes take on the Michigan Wolverines. Going into revisiting last night, the Hawkeyes picked up their first Big Ten win as they took the match from Michigan State in 4 sets. They won 27-25 in the first, and then 25-19 they dropped the second set, but followed up with a 25-16 and 25-21 win to go ahead and take the match 3-1 and pick up Big Ten victory number 1. Hawk Charge led by Addie Vanderweide. She had 10 kills, but a balanced attack as Adina Schmidt had 9 and Courtney Bizzario chipped in with 9 as well. And along with Maya Jones with 9. 4 for Hannah Clayton and 4 for Audrey Black rounded out the 45 kills that the Hawkeyes picked up last night, hitting .204 as a team. They'll take on, as I mentioned, the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan was in Carver early in October, and Michigan came away with a straight set win there. They were in Extreme Arena in Coralville in October. 25-16, 25-12, and 25-20 were the scores. Hawks in that match, again led by Addie Vanderweide, 11 kills. 6 for Kendra Hansen that night, 6 for Courtney Bizzario, and 5 for Amaya Jones and Hannah Clayton. So the middles were involved. Action from Michigan came from the right side players, and the middles, though, as they were tough to handle for the Hawks. And they'll have to find a way to slow those attackers down if they want to get a different outcome in this match. We're going to step away for just a minute. Should be getting underway here shortly. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball. Battling through just a couple of technical issues here so far. We're trying to get everything lined up and underway here. And we're rolling. Looks like we've got everything going. Hawks lead 5-4 here in the early going of the as we're clicking along here. Jenna split back to serve now for the Hawkeyes. Apologize for the challenges here. Jenna back to serve. She fires it over. Overpass for Michigan. Vanderweide goes up and dunks it over. Point Iowa there. That score makes it 5-4. I had the score wrong there when we got the difficulties worked out. Split will serve again. Hawks up by 1. Fires it over. Passes off the net. Push back over. Back row attack from Michigan. Dug up by Schmidt. Outside to Vanderweide. Good diving play there. Jones knocks it over. Great one-handed dig by Hinkle. Vanderweide puts it back row for Schmidt. She's dug up. And Johnson goes up and punches it into the back corner. Good play there by the setter. Ties it at 5. Jones back to serve now for Michigan. 5-all. Page with the big jump serve again. Throws it high. Fires into the net. Hawks lead 6-5. Vanderweide back to serve for the Hawkeyes. Back and forth here in the early going. Hawkeyes in the black uniforms. Vanderwide floats it over. Bad pass. Johnson pushes back row to Jones. Jones goes hard off the block and scores. Tied at 6. Back row kill for Jones. She can get it a little bit from anywhere. Humphrey comes in. She'll serve for Michigan. Tied at 6 here in the early going of the first set. Flat-footed serve, pounds it over. Vanderwide, middle attack Jones, off the net, scores. Rolled off the tape and got over onto the Wolverine side on the floor. 7-6 Hawks lead. Hannah Clayton comes in. Hinkle goes out. Maya Jones goes to the service line. Jones floats it over. Tipped over, dug up by Vanderwide. Outside to Schmidt, tips it over to the corner. Merzik with the swing from the outside. She goes wide. Point Hawks. 8-6 Hawks on top. Jones will fire again. Knocks it over. Johnson off the net. Catches the slide. Goes right down the line. Jones can't dig it up. Give that kill to Robinson, and it's 8-7. Iowa still up by 1. Bizzario will check back in. And that'll bring Ortega back in as well. Hawks up 1 here. 8-7. Johnson, the setter for Michigan. She'll serve. She spins it, runs forward. Left-hander knocks it over. Good pass from Vanderwide out to Schmidt. Schmidt hits it off the block and scores. 9-7. Ortega checks in. Sorry, she was already checked in. She goes to the back row. She'll serve. She spins it, comes forward. Floats it over. Good pass. Right side attack, goes off the block and scores. Give that one to Merzik. It's 9-8. And that'll send Merzik back to the service line. 9-8, Hawks lead here. See if they can get to double digits first. Merzik spins it. Slow walks, pounds it over. That was Vanderwide. Schmidt rolls it over, and she finds the floor. 10-8 on the Adina Schmidt kill. Good serve receive there from Vanderwide. Schmidt with a smart play, just rolled it over the top of the block, 10-8. And Adina will go back to serve. Comes forward and fires it. Looks like an overpass. Clayton went up, couldn't quite get it. Hawks get it up on Schmidt, or Vanderwide rolls it over. Johnson, right side attack. Dug by the Hawks, back to the Michigan side. Johnson backpedals, right side attack again. Blocked back onto the Michigan side again. Libero takes this one, goes out to the outside. That's Jones. She's dug up. Dunked over back on the Hawks side. That was Pertovsky that'll get the kill. 10-9 Iowa leads. Good rally there. Michigan was always in charge. Hawks tried to find a way to get it, but couldn't quite get it done. Grant now to serve for Michigan. She's there, Libero. Knocks it over. Schmidt, bad pass. Ortega chases it down. Vanderwide goes cross. Dug up onto the Michigan side, but comes over, and Clayton hammers it home on the overpass. Hannah Clayton ready for that one. Knocked it back onto the Michigan side. 11-9 Iowa leads. She'll go out now. Hinkle goes to the service line, and Jones comes into the front row. Hinkle knocks it over. Good pass. Right side to Pertovsky. Ooh, change up there. It looked like Vanderwide tried to stick hands back to get it and knocked it away from a diving Hinkle. So it's 11-10 Hawks lead on the Pertovsky kill. Outside of Merzik, Michigan didn't make many hitting errors the first time, so the Hawks will have to find a way to force them into something. Pertovsky fires into the net. 12-10 Hawks lead on the service error. Quick rotation around. Split comes in. Black comes in. Bizzario and Ortega go out. Split pulls it back and fires. Good pass there. Back row attack coming. And there's the kill. Give that kill to Merzick from the back row, 12-11. In the first match, Michigan had 11 hitting errors, and Merzick had 7 of them, so the rest of the offense was pretty clean. Jones now to serve. The big high toss and the swing. Hinkle, good pass, split, pushes it out to Black. Dug up by the libero. Johnson back row to Jones. Oh, Hawks were in the net. Ball was long, but the Hawks were in the net, so it's 12-all now. Give Jones the kill. And she'll serve again. Big high toss, fires. Hinkle another lunging play. Split goes middle to Amaya Jones, and Amaya scores. 13-12, Hawks back on top. Good set there from Split. The ball was off the net. She still found a way to get it to the middle, and Jones knew what to do with it once she touched it. Vanderweide comes forward, knocks it over. Good pass, another back row attack. Jones gets this one. She finds the platform a Split, ricochets off into the Hawkeye bench, 13-all. Humphrey checks in, she'll serve. Steps and fires. Hinkle, good pass. Jones goes off the net. She's dug up. Jones all the way across court. Rolled over and off the Hawkeye block. Give that kill to Merzick, and it's 14-13, Michigan on top. Humphrey again. She'll send it over. Split has to chase it down. Right side from Black, and she goes long, hitting error. It's 15-13, Michigan. And Coach Brown will call timeout for the Hawkeyes. Midway through the first set, it's 15-13, Michigan. Timeout, Iowa. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball. Iowa Volleyball is brought to you by University of Iowa Sports Medicine, offering sports injury prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation to athletes of all ages and skill levels. University of Iowa Sports Medicine, team physician of your Iowa Hawks. Good crisp start for both teams as we're midway through the set. Michigan on top, 15-13. Both teams hitting an outstanding percentage, 471 for the Hawks, 423 for Michigan. So we'll see whose defense steps up first. And that will likely be the winner of the first set here. Humphrey to serve again. She knocks it over. Hinkle passes tight and goes right up. That's Robinson that goes right up in the middle and takes care of the overpass. 16-13 Michigan. Hawks in a little danger zone here. Need a side out. Humphrey to fire again. One step, knocks it over, off the tape and rolls over onto the Hawks side. Ace serve, 17-13. First ace of the match for either team. In tennis, they kind of wave the racket at each other and apologize for that one. Humphrey again, heck of a service run here so far. She knocks it over. Hinkle lunging play. Split, platforms it all the way across. Black tips it over. She's blocked, tips it back over. Looked like she might have been in the net, got away with it. Doesn't matter as Robinson hammers it home on the slide. 18-13 Michigan. We were playing side-out volleyball until this run. Hawks need to stop it. Humphrey again. She knocks it over. Schmidt, pass off the net. Split chases it down. Schmidt hits it into the Michigan bench. 19-13. I don't have the exact total in front of me, but that's 6 or 7 in a row now for Michigan. And Iowa will use the second timeout in the run. 19-13, Michigan on top in the first. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball. 7-0 run for Michigan. Makes it 19-12. Hawks will have to find their way out of this. Or I'm sorry, 19-13. Hawks will have to find their way out of this mess right now as the Hawks led 13-12. And Michigan's rattled off 7 straight. Coming out of the timeout, Humphrey still at the service line for Michigan. She's a defensive specialist from Lafayette, Indiana. She steps forward, bangs it over. Hinkle, good pass to Split. Backpedals, goes to Jones. Jones tips. Net call on Michigan. Robinson was in the net there, so give the kill to Amaya Jones. Hawks stop the 7-0 run. Still trail 19-14. Jones back to serve. Amaya knocks it over. Johnson chases it down. Big swing coming. Oh, and that's big kill for Merzick. Ball was off the net. She adjusted nicely. Got the kill. 20-14. Substitutions coming in for both teams. Johnson will serve. Johnson will serve for Michigan. She spins it, runs forward, knocks it. Schmidt. Backside to Clayton. Clayton knocks it over. Diving play there. Ball goes back outside. Merzick. Good one-handed play by Hinkle. Goes to Ortega. Back row to Vanderwide. She misses wide. 21-14. Vanderwide got a good swing. Just barely missed wide. And the Hawks are in a little danger here. 21-15. Johnson to serve again. Lefty knocks it over. Schmidt, ball's way off the net. Ortega gives it to Vanderwide, who just pushes it over and finds the donut. Two-handed push, knocks it in front of a diving Grant. And it's 21-15. Hawks catch a break there. Ortega will serve for the Hawks. Bailey knocks it over. Good pass from Grant. Johnson pushes it all the way outside. Play by Hinkle. Ortega pushes it outside to Schmidt. Oh, and she's blocked. Robinson and Merzick get the block. 22-15 now. First block of the match goes to Michigan. Merzick will go back to the service line. 22-15 here in the first set. Merzick slow walks and fires. Hands by Vanderwide. Ball goes out. That was Bizzario. She was blocked by Pertovsky. Robinson might have been there too. 23-15 as all of a sudden Michigan's taking charge at the net. Merzick again. Spins it. Slow, hammers it. Hands from Schmidt. That was Vanderwide who used hands. It wasn't a very good pass. Ball came back to her. She tried to roll it in just roll it just over the net. Unfortunately, rolled it into the net. And Michigan has a whole world of set points here, 24-15. Merzik one more time. Kind of deceptive, a little slow move, and then just punches it. Good pass that time from Vanderwide. Goes to Clayton, and she scores. 24-16, Hawks stay alive. Schmidt will go back to serve for the Hawks. See if they can put a run together here. Adina comes forward, floats it over. Good pass. Johnson pushes it outside of Jones, and Jones finds the seam in the back row defense, and Michigan takes set one, 25-16. Hawks led 13-12. Michigan ends the set on a 13-3 run and wins it. We'll take a break. Michigan leads 1-0. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball. I'm John Evans. Hawks drop the first set 25-16. And much like we saw in Coralville at the beginning of October, Michigan just doesn't beat themselves when it comes to playing against the Hawkeyes. 16 kills for Michigan, just 2 attack errors. They did have 2 service errors. The Hawks hit at least an okay 222, 12 kills, 6 errors. Had 1 service error, but again, Michigan hitting 452 in the set was enough to not let Iowa really have a chance to come back or to withstand the run there at the end of the first set. 2 aces for Michigan, 2 service errors, no aces, 1 error for the Hawks. Michigan with 3 blocks, the Hawks with just 1. Let's see, let's get a quick look at digs for the Hawkeyes. Got Mari Hinkle with 6. Great job in the back row diving around. Adina Schmidt's got 4. Kendall Murray has 3 for Michigan. Hannah Grant has 2. Paige Jones has 5 kills for Michigan. Amaya Jones has 4 for the Hawkeyes. Addie Vanderwide with 3. Jess Merzik with 4 for Michigan. And then May Pertofsky and Jess Robinson with 3 apiece for Michigan. So Hawks had a good first, we'll call it 25 points of the set there. Unfortunately, the last, 10 or 15 didn't quite go the way the Hawks planned. And so see if they can rebound. Last night was one of the first times the Hawks had put it all together for the match. And so let's see if they can find a way here to rebound a little bit and come back. They did have a little bit of a down set last night too, so not impossible to regroup from this and get everything going. Merzik will start off the second set for Michigan. She does the same slow step and fire. Vanderwide. Ortega goes behind her to Schmidt, who tips it over. Michigan gets it over in play. Hinkle, Ortega, middle attack from Clayton. Michigan diving around, can't get to it though. Give Clayton the kill, and the Hawks lead 1-0. We saw this substitution last night as well. Slagle will check in for Schmidt here in the set, and Maddie will serve. She knocks it over. Lunging play there. Johnson goes outside. Paige Jones goes off the block and scores, tied at 1. Hannah Grant, the Michigan libero, wearing the white jersey tonight. She'll serve. She comes forward, big floater. Slagle, Ortega, Clayton from the middle scores, 2-1 Hawks. Good start for Hannah Clayton. She got 2 quick kills for the Hawks. She goes out now, though. Jones comes back in, and Hinkle will serve. Mari holds it up, fires cross court. Ball's off the net. Johnson gives it back her right side. Hinkle, good set of her feet, gets it. Ortega behind her to Bizarro. Bizarro finds the cross and scores, 3-1 Hawks. Good dig there. Hawks have had a hard time with the right sides when they played Michigan, but got a good one there. Hinkle to serve, knocks it over. Overpass, Bizarro goes up, dunks it right down, 4-1 Hawks. This is the way you want to start a set. Hinkle to serve again. Rips it cross. Ball catches the corner. We're going to get an immediate challenge from Coach Rosen, though. Merzick let it go right in front of the Michigan bench. It got challenged right away. It was right in front of the line judge. If it stands, it's 5-1 Hawks on the ace serve, which would be the first of the night. While they're reviewing it, we'll take a short break. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Looks like we've got a decision, and Coach Rosen was right. We'll get an overturn here as the ball was just long. So instead of the service ace, it's a Hawkeye service error. Hawks still lead 4-2 on the Hinkle error. I suppose sometimes those balls right at the line judge are hardest to see. Your instinct is to get the heck out of the way. And then just the angle of attack with the ball right on you makes it hard to see whether it caught the line or not. That'll send Pertovsky back to serve for Michigan. 4-2 after the reset and the overturn here. Pertovsky way behind the service line, runs forward, fires. Lunging play by Slagle. Middle from Jones. She's dug up. Little traffic jam. Back row from Michigan, dug up by Hinkle. Ortega pushes it to Jones, who tips over. She's one-handed up. Michigan's going to get this over on a free ball. Slagle chases it down. Ortega goes all the way outside to Vanderwide. Off the block, scores. 5-2 Hawks. Good scramble play there. Michigan kept finding ways to get it back, making Iowa score the point. Hawks finally did as Vanderwide gets it off the block. Substitutions coming for the Hawks. Split into serve, Black into the front row. Jenna holds it up high. Couple steps, fires. Good pass there. Slide coming. Boney hits it off the block and scores. First time we've called her name, 5-3. That'll put Paige Jones back to serve for Michigan. Big high toss. Hammers it over. Hinkle. Overpass. We'll call Boney's name again as she gets the kill. 5-4. Boney took care of the overpass there. Excuse me. Jones to serve again. Hawks have handled jump servers pretty well. Having a hard time on this one right now. Lunging play, overpass. Boney puts a dent in the floor there. Slagle this time teed it up for Boney, and she knocks it home, and we're tied at 5. Jones will get another chance. Page tosses it up high, fires. Hinkle, split, out to Black, off the block, back onto the Hawk side. Slagle goes right side down to Vanderwide. Ball was tight. She puts it right in the block. Boney and Merzick get the block. 6-5. Michigan's come all the way back and leads now. Let's get Paige Jones off the service line. Low bounces, then she holds it out in front of her. The big high toss, the fire. Hinkle, split. Amaya Jones with the good swing from the middle score, 6-all. Schmidt comes back in for Slagle. Vanderwide back to the service line. All tied up here at 6. Michigan leads 1-0. Vanderwide floats it over. Good pass, slide, down the line and wide. Boney tried the slide. After 3 consecutive kills, she misses that one. 7-6 Hawks lead. Vanderwide to fire again. Johnson goes up, tries to dunk it over. She ends up in the net, though. Pass was a little tight. She tried the little left-handed hook shot. She ends up in the net. 8-6 now, Hawkeyes lead. And Vanderwide will get a serve again. She knocks it over. Pass is tight. Jones tracks it down. Paige Jones from the back row. She's dug by Vanderwide. Diving play. Schmidt has to platform it over, though. Michigan in a scramble mode. Goes with the slide. Blocked back onto the Michigan side. Hawks are going to get this back in play. Great hands there. Hinkle taps it over. Oh, bad play by the libero as she sets it up beautifully for Amaya Jones, and Amaya takes care of the overpass. 9-6, Hawkeyes lead. Great play by the Hawks as they scrambled around, chased it almost into the front row of the crowd, platformed it over, and then a bad pass from the libero. Vanderwide knocks it over. Johnson puts it back row to Paige Jones, and she scores off the block, 9-7. Good run there by the Hawks to retake the lead. New player on for Michigan here. 9-7, Hawks on top. Humphrey back in, she'll serve. She was the one that went on the big run in the first set. Knocks it over. Hinkle, good pass to split. Schmidt is blocked. Goes back out to Schmidt again. Rolls it over. Diving play by Michigan. Paige Jones from the back row. Off the block. Oh, Hinkle with a second dive is a good one. Split. Schmidt rolls it over. She's dug up. Middle attack. Robinson finds the floor. Good scramble play by the Hawks, but Michigan just had a little bit too much firepower there. 9-8 on the Robinson kill. And Humphrey to serve again. She knocks it over. Vanderwide outside to Schmidt. Rolled over. Back row from Paige Jones. And Amaya Jones wins the battle. The battle of the Joneses goes to the Hawkeye version, 10-8. Amaya Jones with the block on Paige Jones. Amaya to serve for the Hawkeyes. She knocks it over. Johnson gives it the slide. Dug up by Split. Clayton platforms it. Black has to backpedal. Johnson goes over. Uses Johnson. Ball comes all the way out to Merzick on the outside. Oh, what a sharp cross, and she finds the floor, 10-9. Good platform from Paige Jones all the way in the corner. Hit it all the way back to the far side for Merzick. And Merzick went sharp cross and bounced it in front of Amaya Jones. Scotty Johnson now back to serve for Michigan. 10-9, Hawks still on top. Comes forward and fires. Schmidt, middle attack from Clayton, off the block and scores. Good middle ball there from the Hawks, 11-9 now. Ortega will go back to serve. Bailey spins it, runs forward, and knocks it over. Lunging play there, ball's tight. Misconnection, Michigan just bumps it over. Hinkle, Ortega behind her to Bizzario. Blocks late, and the Hawks score. Middle block couldn't get out there, and Bizzario took advantage, 12-9. Good battle here for the Hawks. Bailey Ortega back to serve again. Bailey knocks it over. Good pass. Johnson, back row, dug up by Hinkle. Ortega, back row from Vanderwide. Dug up by Michigan, and they punch it over. Good play from Michigan. Hinkle, Ortega, outside. Move, tough ball. Hawks are in scramble mode. Vanderwide rolls shots over. Platformed. Big swing coming from Michigan. Off the block and scores. Give that one to Merzick from the right side. Both teams had control of that point at one time or another. And Michigan ends up coming away with it, 12-10. Merzick will go back to serve now. One slow step, fires. Vanderwide, overpass again. Ortega had to just dunk out of the way. Robinson goes up and dunks it onto the Hawkeye side. Michigan back to within one now, 12-11. Michigan doesn't have a ton of aces, but the Hawkeye serve receive has been a little iffy tonight. Lunging play there. Ortega out to Bizzario. Sharp cross, dug up, back onto the Hawkeye side. Vanderwide, Ortega, Clayton into the block. Clayton covers herself. Chase down. Back row tip shot. In system, back row from Paige Jones. Sharp cross, and she hammers it off Hinkle, who deflects it into the bench, tied at 12. Actually, that was Merzick from the back row. Sorry about that. Tied at 12. Merzick to serve again for the Wolverines. She spins, slow walks, and fires. She goes long. Service error gives the point to the Hawks. 13-12, back on top. Schmidt goes out. Slagle will come in. Slagle will serve. Maddie jogs it forward, knocks it over. Johnson chases it down. Ball's tight. Paige Jones, big swing back onto the Michigan side. Right side coming from Michigan, tipped over. Lunging play by Hinkle. Ortega all the way behind her. It's tight. Hawks just have to tip it over. Use the setter, though. Platforms behind. Paige Jones, big swing off the block and scores for the Hawks. Courtney Bizzario, Hannah Clayton get the block. And it's 14-12 Hawkeyes. Big wall set up there by the Hawks. Sent it back down to the Michigan side of the floor. Slagle to serve. Slow walks forward. Goes at Merzick. Lunging play. Out of play. Ace serve. This time that one will stand, and the Hawks lead 15-12. Timeout Michigan. Hawks on top here in the second set. 15-12. Trail 1-0. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball, presented by Quickstar. I'm John Evans. The Hawks lead set 2, 15-12 after dropping set 1, 25-16. Good run here for the Hawks. Have allowed them to push ahead a little bit. Taking a quick look at the stat leaders. Bizzario with 4 kills. Hannah Clayton has 5 tonight. Addie Vanderwhite has 4. Amaya Jones leads them all for the Hawkeyes, though. She has 6. Coming back out of the timeout, Slagle will serve. Hawks on top, 15-12. Hawks led set 1, 13-12, before Michigan stormed to the finish line. Slagle comes forward, fires it. Johnson comes right side to Pertovsky. Big swing off the block, scores. Vanderwhite couldn't quite find it. Not sure even if she saw it right away she'd have been able to get there. 15-13. Hannah Grant will serve for Michigan. Floats it over. Hinkle, Ortega, Clayton, blocked. Ooh, back on it. It looked like the Hawks had a chance to cover it. Boney and Jones will get the block as the Hawks kind of battled it around. Vanderwhite was under it, just couldn't put any leverage on it. It's 15-14. I guess that was Pertovsky and Boney. Sorry about that. Grant floats it over again. Vanderwhite goes right side to Bizzario. She's blocked. Tries to cover herself. Doesn't work out. We're tied at 15 all of a sudden on a couple blocks from Michigan. This one was Boney and Jones. Grant to serve again. She floats it over. Outside, Vanderwhite off the block. Grant platforms it behind her. Paige Jones, roll shot. Oh, and finds the space. 16-15. Great play by there. Great play by Jones there. Used to seeing her take big, hard swings. And that one, she gave the look of the big swing and then just rolled it right over the top. Didn't waste any energy, just took it right over the top. Grant fires again. Hinkle, good pass. Ortega behind her to Bizzario. Kill Courtney Bizzario, 16 all. Good right side swing from court. Clayton goes out. Jones comes in. And that'll put Hinkle to the service line for the Hawks. She knocks it over. Good pass. Johnson, right side. Big swing, scores. Give that one to Pertovsky, 17-16. Michigan on top again. See if the Hawks have a better answer here in the back half of the set than they did the first time. Pertovsky will serve for Michigan. Get a little floor cleanup here first. These Michigan players are hooting and hollering at the ball, or the floor cleaning crew. Pertovsky way behind the service line for Michigan. She runs forward, fires. Strong serve. Hinkle. Stutter step from Ortega as she was going at Vanderwhite. Allows the ball to hit the floor. Ace serve for Pertovsky, and it's 18-16. I will not let her get away. Timeout, Coach Brown and the Hawkeyes. Michigan has retaken the lead here in set 2, 18-16. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball. Hey, Hawkeye fans, get a taste of game day at your home by stopping by Molly's Cupcakes and picking up your favorite cookie or Rice Krispie treat to satisfy your sweet tooth craving. Molly's Cupcakes, located off Clinton Street in the heart of downtown Iowa City. 18-16, Michigan has started to stretch the lead here in set 2 after taking set 1, 25-16. See if the Hawks can get a side out here. build some momentum on their own and hustle to the finish line of set 2. Pertosky will fire again for Michigan. Lots of bounces from her. Here she comes. Doesn't hit that one very well. Hits it right in the net. Took a long time behind the line. I'm sure that had to affect her rhythm just a little bit. And the Hawks are back to within 1 at 18-17. Substitutions coming for the Hawks. Split comes in for Bizzario. Black comes in for Ortega. And Jenna Split, the lefty from Cary, Illinois, will serve. Holds it up in front of her, pulls the bow back and lets it go. Johnson pushes it all the way outside to Jones, high off the block, dug by Slagle. Split pushes it out to Vanderwide, who has to roll it over, block back onto the Hawks side, and Amaya Jones just two-hand flips it right back onto the Michigan side. We're tied at 18. Split gets to serve again. 18 all here in set 2. Runs forward. Knocks it over. Lunging play there. Johnson on the slide. Boney hits it off the block, off the Vanderwide and Jones block, and scores 19-18. Michigan leads with the Boney kill. Paige Jones again. She's got Michigan back in the set early. Hawks will need a side out. Hinkle, good pass this time to Split. Middle attack from Amaya Jones. She covers back onto the Michigan side. Grant platforms it behind her. Big swing. Sharp cross and scores. That was Merzick. 20-18. Michigan now on top. Paige Jones to serve again. Hawks need a side out. Big toss. Fires. Good pass from Slagle. Audrey Black. Good swing. Didn't get it. Big swing. Tip shot. Diving play by Hinkle. Split. Gets it to Vanderwide, who rolls it over. Grant. Johnson. Back row. Dug up by Slagle. Split chases it down. Goes outside to Audrey Black. Goes off the block. Over the up ref. Kill for Audrey Black. Hawks back to within 1 at 20-19. Iowa's doing a good job on these scramble points. They're winning their fair share of them. Vanderwide to serve. Knocks it over. Lunging play. Johnson pushes it all the way outside to Merzick. Dug by Hinkle. Jones tips it over. That's Merzick. Diving play by Hinkle, but couldn't get it up in the air. 21-19. Michigan back on top. Looks like the Hawks will go ahead and use a second timeout. 21-19. Michigan leads set 2 after taking set 1. Hawkeye timeout. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball, presented by Quickstar. Hey, Hawkeye fans, experience your home away from home at Coralville's finest all-suite hotels, Homewood Suites and Home to Suites by Hilton. Each offer guests spacious suites, complimentary breakfast, 24-hour fitness center, pool, hot tub, guest laundry, and convenient locations. Let their warm and friendly staff take care of you and your family when you visit Hawkeye Country. 21-19, Michigan on top here in the second set. They did take the first set as well, so the Hawks will try to avoid a big hole by seeing if they can steal this second set. Humphrey checked in at the timeout. She'll serve for Michigan. She serves right from the middle of the court, one small step, and hammers it over. Lunging play from Schmidt. Goes all the way behind, and that's Audrey Black that gets the kill. Good set from Split. Pushed it all the way back to the right side. Black gets the kill. Hawks back to within one. 21-20. Amaya Jones to serve. She floats it over. Drops it right in front. That was Murray that tried to dive and get it. Couldn't get it up in the air, though, and we are tied at 21. Race to 4 here to claim the second set. Jones tries to change up again, and this time catches the bottom of the net. 22-21, Michigan retakes the lead. Last night, the Hawks were a beneficiary of a whole slew of Michigan State service errors. Michigan State had 16 service errors last night. That one came at a bad time for the Hawks. Johnson to serve for Michigan. Knocks it over. Schmidt. Ball goes back out to her, and she's blocked. Block from Jess Robinson and May Pertovsky. 23-21 Michigan. Johnson to serve again. She floats it over. Vanderwide. Back row to Bizzario. A lot of flailing hands from Michigan, but nobody touches it, and the ball goes out. Set point Michigan, 24-21. Johnson to fire one more time. She spins. The lefty hammers it over. And Schmidt mishandles it, and that'll do it. Michigan takes set 2, 25-21, and now leads 2-0. Just a reminder, this is the 5-minute halftime break, so we'll take just a little longer time out here. Michigan leads 2-0. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball presented by Quickstar. I'm John Evans. Hawks trail 2-0 after dropping set 1 25-16. Fell in set 2 25-21. Amaya Jones leads the Hawkeyes with 7 kills. Hannah Clayton has 4 and Addie Vanderwide also has 4. Give Bailey Ortega 14 assists for the Hawkeyes and Jenna Split with 6. Couple ace serves from Amaya Jones and Maddie Slagle with 1 each. You've got Mari Hinkle doing a great job in the back row. 13 digs so far. She's been just a little bit of everywhere. Unfortunately, the Hawks have just had a hard time slowing down Michigan's attack. Hawks hitting a respectable 219, but Michigan hitting an outstanding 394. And Iowa actually slowed them down there in set 2, holding them to 343. So Hawks 25 kills, 11 errors. Michigan 32 kills to just 6 hitting errors. So the Hawks, again, will have to find a way, whether it's changing up the block a little bit, doing a little bit more on the serve to try to aim and be able to predict a little bit better where the ball's going to go, because right now it's all Michigan with 11 blocks to just 3 for the Hawks. So Iowa to come back and force a 4th set and extend the match even further will need to find a way to play a little bit better defense. They'll start at the net and then try to get up playable balls so that they can control the pattern there a little bit. Hawks will start serving here in set 3. Bailey Ortega will fire first. Bailey's a sophomore from Davenport North. And she'll get going. Set 3 underway. Pass comes back. Big outside swing. That's Pertovsky from the outside. She's usually a good slide or right side, but she gets it over on the traditional outside pin there. 1-0 Michigan. Johnson heads back to the... Actually, that's Merzik that heads back to the line. Steps and fires. Vanderwide. Ortega. Clayton off the block. Grant gets it. Johnson pushes it back row to Merzik, and she finds the floor. Hawks playing a little bit of a rotational defense. It's really depending on Vanderwide and Hinkle to make the play. That time it split the seam pretty well, and it's 2-0 Michigan. Merzik again. She spins it, comes forward. Ball goes to Schmidt, tips it over. Lunging play by Grant. Johnson goes behind her. Off the block, Michigan gets it back up. Johnson tries to dump it over. Hawks are going to get it back over. And we're back running Jones. Jones finds the seam. It's the same seam that Merzik hit. 3-0 now. Hawks scrambled well, but were never able to really keep it in play so that they had a chance to score. Merzik again. Knocks it over. Vanderwide. Ortega one-hands it. Clayton dug up by Grant. Goes back outside to Paige Jones again. Rolls it off the block. Hawks get it up. Vanderwide rolls it over again. Grant goes behind her to Jones. Jones, big swing off the block. Scores. 4-0 Michigan. Kill number 10 for Paige Jones. Hawks have been kind of the ones to get off to good starts and then haven't been able to hold on. Michigan putting the hammer down right from the beginning here. Merzik to serve. And she goes long. Hawks catch a break. Run stops at 4. The first point of the Hawks is on a service error. Schmidt goes out. Slagle checks in. And she'll get the ball with a chance to pull the Hawks closer. Slagle comes forward. Cedar Rapids Jefferson's finest. Robinson. Hawks tip it over. Grant now goes outside. That ball goes wide. Hitting error from Pertovsky. Again, Michigan doesn't make many of those. Hawks have cut the lead in half, 4-2. Slagle again. She knocks it over. Ball's tight. Clayton goes up, and she dents the floor this time. We saw that earlier from Michigan, but Clayton hammers it home 4-3. Mentioning Slagle, Cedar Rapids, Jefferson. Can't imagine how Maddie's a senior. I've seen her play for years and years on the club scene. Serves it over. Ball goes outside of Jones. Big swing off the block. Grant covers. Grant gives it back to Paige Jones. Rolls it over. Diving play by Hinkle. Middle attack from Clayton. Chops it over. Michigan's going to get it. Free ball coming. Jones knocks it over. Slagle. Ortega. Outside to Bizzario. Right down the line and scores. And we're tied at 4. Courtney Bizzario paints the line off the block. So 4 in a row for Michigan, 4 in a row for the Hawks. Slagle knocks it over. Johnson, it's tight, right side, tips it over. Hinkle gets there. Ortega pushes it out to Vanderwide, off the block, dug by Jones. Johnson, back row for Merzick, and she hits it off the block and scores 5-4. I know every team's got a solid back row attack game, but Michigan with Merzick and Jones, both players, very explosive from the back row. Grant floats it over. Hinkle. Ortega. Oh, wasn't the greatest pass from Hinkle, which led to not the greatest pass from Ortega, which led to Boney and Pertovsky stuffing Addie Vanderwide. 6-4 Michigan. Grant knocks it over. Hinkle pushes it outside. Vanderwide again. She's blocked again. Pertovsky and Boney again. 7-4. Grant forgot she was serving. She remembers now. Heads back to the line. Runs forward. Floats it over. Hinkle to Ortega. Behind her to Bizzario. Dug up by Johnson. Grant chases it down. Back row from Merzick. Ortega to Slagle. Bizzario knocks it over. Grant gets it. Johnson, middle attack from Boney. Hits it over the block. Hawks can't chase it down. 8-4. 4 in a row for Michigan. 4 in a row for Iowa. 4 in a row again for Michigan. And it's 8-4. Grant now the libero. Floats it over. Vanderwide to Ortega. Behind her to Bizzario. Courtney ends the run. Big swing from Buzz. Hawks trail by 3 now, 8-5. Clayton goes out. Jones checks back in. Hinkle will serve for the Hawks. See if the Hawks can get their 4 in a row turn. Hinkle knocks it over. Johnson behind her to Pertovsky. Goes sharp cross. Hinkle gets it. Bizzario dug up by Johnson. Grant goes behind her to Paige Jones. Dug by Hinkle. And that was Pertovsky that caught the overpass and knocked it back down on the Hawkeye side, 9-5. Pertovsky back to serve now for the Wolverines. 9-5 here. Pertovsky way behind the service line again. Runs it forward. Hammers it into the net, 9-6. Hawks will take those breaks. Split comes in for Bizzario. Black comes in for Ortega. Split to serve for the Hawks. Pulls it back. Floats it over. Johnson goes on the slide. That's enough for Boney. She gets the kill. 10-6, Michigan leads. Hawks just kind of hanging on by a thread here. Paige Jones and the big jump serve coming. Hinkle lunging play. Split. Pushed it all the way out to Black. She's dug up by Grant. Humphrey takes it, Jones from the back row. And she finds the floor. Again, that back row kill makes it 11-6 now. You just see her comfort level with taking those swings from the back row, whether it's on the serve like coming up here or just on a regular back row swing. Big high toss, big high hammer. Knocks that one long though. Hawks catch another break, 11-7. Vanderwide will serve. Freshman from Ada, Michigan. Addie floats it over. Grant to Johnson, and she just dunks it over. Pass was tight, and she just went right over. Left hand flip, little hook shot, and sent it right straight to the floor. 12-7 Michigan. Humphrey checks in. She's been a handful for the Hawks back here. Doesn't seem to serve it that hard, but the Hawks have had a hard time handling it. Knocks it over. Hinkle to split. Goes outside to Schmidt. She's blocked, covered by Hinkle. The second ball from split there was tight to the net. Black tips it into the block. Give that block to Merzick and Robinson. And it's 13-7. And the Hawks will go ahead and use their first timeout. Michigan leads 2-0 and 13-7 here in the third. Timeout Iowa. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball. Looking to downsize from your family home? The new Oak Knoll East campus is now open and offers many unique amenities for your active lifestyle. Call 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Oak Knoll is a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. 13-7, Michigan rolling here in set 3. Humphrey will continue serving for the Wolverines. Hawkeyes will try to stop the run here. A lot of the Michigan players use this technique. It's a very slow approach and then just knock it over quickly. It's a little deceiving. Ball goes outside to Black. She goes off the block and gets the score. Hinkle took the serve receive. Split gave a good ball to Black on the right side, and she found the floor 13-8. Amaya Jones back to serve now for Iowa. She spins it, comes forward. Johnson goes back row. Paige Jones, big swing, dug by Split. Clayton goes up, tips it with her left hand, and finds the line. Hannah goes over on 2, uses her left hand and found an open spot of the floor. 13-9. Hawks creeping back into it. Jones to serve again. She knocks it over. Ball's tight. Johnson. Got it to Robinson as she hammers it home off the block right on the line. Another big kill for the Michigan middle if she gets the slide and scores. 14-9. Johnson will serve for Michigan. Knocks it over. Ball's off the net. Oh, collision there. Hinkle was camped out under it. Ortega kind of doing her job as setter. Somebody probably needs to get ears open there or get eyes down as they run into each other and the ball kind of just clatters away. 15-9. Probably the setter's ball, but I like that Hinkle was set, could have delivered a good ball without having to chase it down too hard. Vanderwide, back row from Bizzario, and she scores. 15-10. Ortega to serve now. That'll shift Bizzario up to the front row. Ortega knocks it over. Johnson, middle from Michigan. Vanderwide gets it. Ortega backside to Bizzario, and she scores. Couple of kills for Courtney, and it's 15-11. 7 now on the night for Court. Ortega to serve again. Floats it over. Ball goes over to Johnson. Outside. That's Merzick. 16-11. Michigan stops the run before it got too deep for the Hawks. And Merzick will go back to serve. 16-11. Michigan just holding Iowa off right now. Floats it over. Vanderwide. Ortega. Tipped over by Buzz. Merzick from the back row. Dug by Vanderwide. Ortega. Good ball to Bizzario. Rolls it over. Johnson takes it. Grant goes behind her to Paige Jones. Big swing into the block. Bizzario and Clayton block it. 16-12 now. Schmidt goes out. Slagle comes in. Hawks will try to make a run here. Slagle floats it over. Grant takes it. Johnson goes behind her to Pertovsky off the block and scores. May Pertovsky's got 8, and it's 17-12 Michigan. Grant to serve for the Wolverines. Floats it over, floats it long. Vanderwide jumped up, was going to take her hands and play it, and then thought, if I'm jumping from the back row, why would I hit this ball? And let it go out of bounds. 17-13. Clayton goes out. Jones goes into the front row. Hinkle's got the ball at the service line as she'll try to pull the Hawks closer. But first, looks like we're going to have a challenge. Do they think that Vanderwide actually touched that, or do they think that it clipped the line? We'll have to see. While we're at the challenge, we'll take a short break. Hawks trail set 3, 17-13. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Looks like we're just finishing up the ruling here on the challenge. Looks like the call will stand. Ball was out. Vanderwide didn't touch it, so Coach Rosen's 1-1 on the challenges tonight. He'll still have one challenge left. Hinkle will serve. 17-13, Hawks trail. If you're looking for some strategery, that was probably just as good as a timeout there. Hinkle goes over. Johnson, middle attack, scores. Give that kill to Boney out of the middle. 18-13. Pertovsky now, she'll go back to serve. Way behind the line, and she takes a little time back there. Let's see how this goes. Runs it forward. Ball got behind her, and she sailed it long. You can see that on the toss as she's one of the few Michigan players that kind of aggressively comes forward, and that ball got behind her, so then she got under it and just launched it 18-14. Split comes back in, and Black comes back in as Bizzario and Ortega go out. Jenna Split pulls it back, fires. Michigan lets it go, and it catches the back line. Ace serve, Jenna Split, 18-15. Hawks creep a little closer. Split again. Knocks it over. Lunging play there. Johnson chases it down. Paige Jones, big swing, dug by Hinkle. Split, gives it to Vanderwide. She's blocked. That was Boney and Johnson get the block. 19-15 now. Timeout Hawks, trailing 19-15 here in the third. We'll take the break as well. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Iowa Volleyball. Iowa Volleyball is brought to you by University of Iowa Sports Medicine, offering sports injury prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation to athletes of all ages and skill levels. University of Iowa Sports Medicine, team physician of your Iowa Hawks. 19-15, Iowa trails in set 3, trails the match 2-0. Hawks will have to dig deep here. Michigan has owned the latter stages of the previous 2 sets. See if the Hawks can turn the tables and make a little comeback. Paige Jones will go back to serve for Michigan. Hawks have had a little bit of a difficult time here. Big high toss again. She fires. This time she goes in the net. She hit one long to help the Hawks out last time. This time she catches the net, 19-16. That'll put Vanderwide back to serve. Schmidt comes back into the front row for Slagle. Vanderwide floats it over. Grant takes it. Johnson, it's tight, goes up, loses the joust. Schmidt gets it. Schmidt has to platform it over now. Humphrey takes it. Johnson pushes it. Slides, dug up by Hinkle. Split, Jones. Dug up by Humphrey again. Johnson pushes it. Merzick, sharp cross and scores. Hinkle was in the perfect spot but couldn't control it. 20-16. Good hustle by both teams there. The Hawks did a great job staying in the point, just couldn't quite get it done. Humphrey now to serve. Michigan just 5 points away. Hawks will have to make a push here to extend it to a fourth. Humphrey punches it over. Hinkle, it's tight, split, goes behind her to Black. Off the block, scores. Audrey Black gets the kill, 20-17. Clayton goes into the front row. Hinkle goes out. Amaya Jones will go back. She'll serve for Iowa. Knocks it over. Good pass. Outside to Merzick. And she goes right down the line. Good roll shot right over the line. Or right over the block, right down the line. Iowa defense couldn't do anything about that one. 21-17. A lot of substitutions coming again. Johnson's back to serve now for the Wolverines. She comes forward. Schmidt, Ortega, back row to Bizzario. She's dug up by Johnson. Grant takes it, gives it to Merzick. Merzick off the block, stays on Michigan's side. Johnson goes back to Merzick again. Off the block, lunging play. Clayton tips it over with left hand. This time she's dug up by Johnson. Grant goes to Pertovsky. Big swing off the block and scores. Touch, back line anyway, 22-17. Again, the Hawks all in the right spot, just couldn't quite get it done. And this has been where Iowa's kind of lost track of the first 2 sets. Johnson runs it forward, knocks it over. Vanderwide, Ortega, back row from Vanderwide, dug by Grant. Johnson, middle attack from Robinson, scores. 23-17. Jess Robinson with the kill. Johnson to serve again. She knocks it over. Vanderwide to Ortega. Slide from Clayton. Punches it out long. Whole world of match points here for Michigan now. 24-17. And Iowa will have to pull off something pretty incredible here. Johnson comes forward. Fires. Schmidt to Ortega. Back row to Bizzario. Ball goes up off the dig, over onto the Hawkeye side and out of bounds. Hawks save the first one on the Bizzario kill, 24-18. Ortega to serve. Bailey gives it a spin, knocks it forward. Johnson, it's tight, gives it to Robinson, blocked. Ortega gets it. Hinkle, platform to Vanderwide from the back row, and she finds the floor. Kind of little drop shot right in front. Hawks save another one, 24-19. Ortega to serve again. Bailey punches it over. Grant, Johnson, outside. Dug up. Platformed over by Ortega. Grant, Johnson, Robinson. Swipes at it, dug by Ortega. Hinkle, out to Bizzario. Sharp cross, dug up, back onto the Hawkeye side. Clayton goes back over, dug by Grant. Schmidt, dug by Grant again. What a play. Robinson. Roll shot over, dug by Schmidt. Ortega, behind her to Bizzario, has to tip, dug up. What a point. Oh, Michigan's in the net, and uh-oh. We've got a player down. Big collision there. Hope she's all right on that one. God, you see so many ankles get twisted up there. Give Bizzario the kill. 24-20 as she goes right to the Michigan locker room. We're going to have a little bit of a injury timeout here while we swap around. Always amazed you don't see more of those ankle tie-ups, and then that was just such a scramble play. Great effort by both teams. We are back in action here. Ortega to serve. Floats it over. Grant has to take it. Merzik, big swing. Hinkle gets the dig. Ortega all the way back to Bizzario. Goes off the block, out of bounds and scores. 24-21. Hawks sneaking up on it. Coach Rosen looks like he'll use his first timeout. Hawks still alive here in set 3, 24-21. We'll take the timeout. You're listening to Hawkeye Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to Hawkeye Volleyball presented by Quickstar. Hawks trail set 3, 24-21. Trail in the match 2-0. Making a heck of a run here. Had a little bit of a shake up in the Michigan lineup as we had Lizzie Sadilak check in as she came in for the injured player there. I think it was Pertovsky, but again, I can't really see very well. Jess Merzik leads all attackers with 14 kills. Courtney Bizzario has 12 to lead the Hawkeyes. Paige Jones also has 11. Ortega will serve. See if she can keep the Hawks in it. Bailey comes forward, knocks it over. Ball's tight. Oh, and Clayton's called in the net. Actually called for attacking a ball that was still on the Michigan side. Not sure that's one that the Hawks can challenge, but boy, that looked close. I think Coach Brown is going to challenge it. Not sure how you win this one, but we'll see what happens here. Otherwise, the kill's going to go to Johnson on the blocking error from Clayton. But again, I don't think you can challenge this one. Actually, she can. So we're going to give it a good go to see if she even touches it. Hopefully, we'll get a replay here. Tough break for the Hawks, as they got exactly what they wanted on that point. Got the overpass. Michigan was in a tough position, so whether Johnson was trying to pull it back onto her side or whether Clayton went and attacked it on the Michigan side, that's what's at stake here. So if it comes back, the best the Hawks are going to do on this is a replay. So 24-21, Hawks would take the replay. 25-21, Hawks are obviously loading up the bus and headed back to Iowa City. So no reason to not challenge it if you're allowed to. Again, with just a quick look at the stats, Courtney Bizzario with 12 kills, Amaya Jones with 7, Hannah Clayton with 7. So Hawks have done a nice job running some middle. Give Bailey Ortega 21 assists, and the call will stand. Nothing doing for the Hawks on the play. So Clayton called for the blocking error. Johnson gets the game-winning kill. Michigan takes the match 3 straight, 25-16, 25-21, and 25-21. Hawks complete the 3-game road trip, or 3-match road trip tonight. They'll be back in town the next 2 weekends, as next week they take on Indiana at home on Friday night, Wisconsin on Saturday night. Then they'll be in town the following weekend as well, as we'll be back in Extreme Arena for the last 4 home matches of the season before Iowa goes on the road for 4 to finish it up. Hawkeye Volleyball tonight, presenting sponsor of Quick Star. Thank you for listening. I'm John Evans. Hawks fall in 3. You've listened to Hawkeye Volleyball. Have a great evening. Go Hawks.